lovers. Welcome. In this channel, I teach and educate dog lovers and dog owners to become an educated dog lover and have a healthy and happy and well-behaved dog. If this is your first time here and you want to become an educated dog lover, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the negative effects of dog training using treats. It's not that I'm against using treats, it's not that I'm against just training dogs or anything like that, but based on my experiences throughout the years, I have found out that it is not necessary to use treats to train dogs. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions in the chat box and I'll answer them all as we go along. And I have a packed show today, and I'm gonna go through a lot of content today, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it and you're gonna benefit from this live video. And go ahead and ask your questions, and I'll go back and I'll answer them all. And hopefully you can see and hear me clearly. And if you are live with me, please feel free to say hi and let me know if you can hear and see me, and also let me know where you're from. So let's get started. So the negative effects of dog training using treats. So again, as I said, it's not that I'm against training dogs. It's not that I'm against training dogs with treats, but I believe it is not necessary to use treats to train dogs. And if you are here, please say hi and let me know where you are contacting me from. All right, let's start it. So what are the reasons that we train dogs? In general, there are about 5 main reasons why we train dogs. One of them is, number one reason that we train dogs is, we want to train dogs formal training. For example, we want to teach them obedience, sits and stays and come and all these. The number 2 reason why we train dogs is what I call also, I don't know what other dog trainers call it, they call it lifestyle training. Basically, having a dog who can walk nicely, who can greet people nicely. So that's another form of dog training. The number 3 reason why we train dogs is specialty training, which is basically, training dogs agility, fly ball, scent dog, nose work, things like that. And number 4 reason is basically trick training. We teach them to do tricks, like go weave around our legs and do amazing stuff. If you've seen those trick training dogs, that's another reason why we train dogs. And number 5 reason is behavioral modification, or changing dogs' behavior. So these are the reasons. For example, if a dog has behavioral issue like aggression, or is barking at the neighbors and things like that, we train dogs. So these are the reasons why we train dogs. So do we need to use treats to train dogs for all these purposes? In my opinion, there is no need to use treats in any of these forms. As we go along, you're going to find out that you're not going to need to use treats to train dogs. So basically, the goal of dog training is to get the dog to listen to us. You want your dog to listen to you. So if you want your dog to listen to you, you can't just train the dog whenever you have treats in your hand and you train the dog for a short moment. So all you have to do, you have to understand that dogs in general need a lot of time and repetitions to learn something. Now, if you go to lifestyle training or obedience training or trick training even, you have to repeat things over and over. Now you can repeat them using treats, you can repeat them using shock collars, you can repeat them no treats as you use your play or praise system that I use, and then you repeat that over and over and then see if you're going to get results, and I guarantee you, you will get results. So treats are not needed to get results in general. Treats, they don't make you to connect to your dog. Treats don't allow you, not that allow you, but they don't help you to connect to your dog. The connection only happens when you are spending quality time with your dog. If you spend quality time with your dog, you'll see that you're going to have better results, and you're not going to need treats to use as well. Let me see if there's, why does a dog drive high? Okay, so there's a question, Heather, you're asking, why does a dog drive high? There are a few reasons that could happen. Could be that, there's a lack of water, hydration. One, simply that could be it. The other could be that there's a deeper problem. Could be that he or she has a heart problem, and that could be the main reason. So I think one of the best things would be to check with your vet and see why they're having that problem. That would be easier and the fastest solution. But I think you want to provide dry, wet food for your dog. In general, if you provide wet food, not dry food, what I mean by wet food is raw food. It would be better. You will see that it's going to reduce that problem as well. So let's continue here. So in general, most dog owners, what they do, the first thing that they think of when it comes to dog training, they say, I gotta grab my treats and ask my dog to do something. So that's already, you have already set your mind that that's how training is. Training, it's not that. Training is not grabbing treat and asking the dog to do something for the treat. That's the wrong way of approach of training a dog. Training a dog is an all-day, 24/7, 365 days procedure. It doesn't happen only just for 5 minutes, teach your dog to do this. So many people, they ask me, for example, and you've seen it and you've heard this, how do I stop my dog to do this? How do I stop my dog to do that? The reason you're having all these problems is because the only thing that first of all, you're doing with your dog is you're just spending very little time training your dog, properly training your dog, and you're using treats to solve that problem. And the other part is that you're only focused on the problem that your dog is causing in that day, or in that moment, or in that week. You have to look at dog training from overall point of view, in general point of view, that dog training is not something that happens only 5 minutes a day, here and there, 2-3 times a week, or once a week. It happens throughout the day. Training a dog never ends. In a way, whatever you're doing or you're not doing, or whatever you're telling your dog or you're not telling your dog, or whatever you're teaching your dog or you're not teaching your dog is training. If you don't take the time to teach your dog, for example, to sit, your dog is not going to learn to sit. If you don't teach your dog to greet people properly anytime he meets another person, your dog is not going to learn that. You have to take the time to teach this stuff to your dog. And that only happens with repetitions. The action first step is you take action. You take action of training your dog. You come up with a plan that this is what I'm going to do for the next few months. I'm going to practice and train my dog certain things. That's the first thing. Second thing, you have to repeat that procedure, that behavior that you want over and over for a long time until you get results. So again, it doesn't only happen overnight. You have to repeat that until you see results. So treats, again, you can use treats, you can use shock collars, you can use force, you can use domination, you can use play or praise, and if you repeat using any of these methods, you will see results. But I suggest you not to use any of those except the system that I suggest you to use, which is play and praise. So in general, if you are also one of those dog owners who wants to compete in competitions in various fields of training, you'll notice that, for example, when you're doing agility sport, you can't, when you're in the field and you're doing the competition, you can't wear a collar, you can't use any treats, you can't use any toys, you can't have anything with you when you're doing the competition. So they want you to have the training done until up to there and compete without treats. So why don't we train dogs without treats? Does it make sense? So we have to train dogs without treats so we can compete in the competitions also without treats. So that's one of the things that bothers me, that it bothers me that because people think that we have to train our dog with treats, that's the old-fashioned now. We don't need to use treats anymore to train dogs. We have another question. If a puppy has 2 parvo shots already, could it be parvo? First of all, why a puppy would have 2 parvo shots? Usually they give 1 parvo shot. If you're talking about, first of all, annual shot, that could be annual shot that you're talking about. If your dog had parvo shots usually is after they do give the shot. I don't think, this is a good question. Not all the parvo shots cover all the trades of the parvo. So I don't think it's going to be a parvo. It could be. Again, I would suggest you to check with the vet. If you could find a holistic vet that you can talk to and ask, it would be better. But yeah, if puppy has already parvo shot, there's a less chance that it would have parvo. So I think you're also thinking about kennel cough. It shouldn't be kennel cough. If your dog is having dry heart, it shouldn't be kennel cough either. Could be a kennel cough too. I have a video that you can watch. I talk about kennel cough. But if your dog, what you can do, you can excite your dog and get it move around and see if it's going to start coughing and things like that. If it does, then it is kennel cough. So I hope that answers your question. All right. So let's continue. So obviously, using treats, it makes it easy. You can grab a treat and ask your dog to sit. Of course, your dog is going to sit. But the problem is that when you're using treats, your dog focus on, so remember I was saying, the main goal of training is to get our dog to pay attention to us, to listen to us. So when you use treats, the dog focuses on you only 20%. 80% of the focus is on treats. So that's a big gap. Just next time when you're training your dog, don't worry, Heather, go ahead and ask me any questions you have. No worries. This is good. I'm gonna be pausing and answering questions. No worries. Go ahead and feel free to ask any questions. So next time you're training your dog using treats, just pay attention. When you're using treat and move the treat around, you'll see that your dog is paying attention to the treat. It's not paying attention to you. Although you're handling the treat, your dog is not paying attention to you. It's paying attention to the treat. And when your dog or any individual who's paying attention to food other than you, you're not going to get results. You know, your dog is going to sit, yes, because you're forcing your dog to sit with temptation. You shouldn't force your dog to sit for temptation, for example. You should teach your dog to sit for you, because your dog loves you. So the play and praise reward system that I've offered to dog owners is it creates this connection between you and your dog. Once you have that connection, you can do whatever you want with your dog. You can do anything with your dog. Most of the times, I'm going to share a video on my Facebook soon that, you know, I come across an obstacle or something, and I just ask my dog, I just point to my dog, and he knows what he's supposed to do. I'm going to share that video that Harvey, my dog, he went he did a natural obstacle outdoors, and I'm going to share that on my Facebook video. I'm going to link, you can join my Facebook group, link is going to be in the description area. You can go ahead and join it, and you're going to see a lot of cool stuff in that group, as well as I share some secret training as well. So go ahead and join my Facebook group if you haven't yet. So the result that you get when you approach dog training with your feelings and your emotions, it's much more greater than treats. Now let's change direction and go the other way. So as I said, behavior-wise, treat training is not very healthy choice. Now let's move to talking about the health-wise of training our dogs using treats. So the idea of giving treats to our dogs constantly it's an idea that has been kind of debunked now. We shouldn't be feeding our dogs all the time, especially treats that have they are high in fat, high in calories, high in all kinds of toxins and things like that. Especially that we use treats so much. Most dog owners, when it comes to treat training, they don't do it properly. First of all, they overuse the treats. They use it at the wrong time, at the wrong place. So they overfeed their dog treats. Now, the idea of feeding our dogs too much of food has recently become a well-known study that we cause health issues when our dogs are being fed too many times. I've done a few videos that many of you have asked me, why is it that my dog doesn't eat or it refuses to eat its food? The reason for that is dogs in general, or animals, they don't eat all the time. Humans, they don't eat like humans. We don't have breakfast, lunch, dinner, or 5 times a day. They don't eat 5 times a day. They don't eat 6, 7, 8 times a day. They don't have snacks. Animals in the wild, they only eat once after a few days. So for example, if they are hungry, they will go hunt, kill it, eat it, and then they'll eat as much as they have to, and they get full, and then they just walk away. The prey could be just sitting there. They don't say, you know what, I'm going to take some for later, or they don't say, I'm going to save this for, I'm going to cut it up and save it for later. They don't do those stuff. They eat and leave it and walk away, and they don't eat for days, right? And then they eat again if they are feeling hungry again. So in general, the animals, they don't eat that many times. So it is not normal for dogs to be fed all the time either. The idea of feeding our dogs causes the spike in their insulin level, especially including in our human body as well. Every time we eat, we spike the insulin level, which causes us to gain more weight and cause more health issues. So dogs, in the past 100 years or so, they've been fed more than they should be. We've been told that our puppies, they should be fed, 5 times a day. That's the wrong concept. It doesn't make sense anymore to feed our dogs that much. We just feed them as much as they need to. So overfeeding our dogs, using treats to train dogs also, it causes dogs to have health issues. So that's another part that you have to watch out when you're thinking about training your dog. It causes them to develop health issues, unwanted health issues, and it's not natural for them to be fed treats. Now you're going to say, okay, I'm not going to use treats. How about I use shock collars or force or domination? No, you don't need to use those either. Just watch my videos, watch my channel. I'm educating you how to train your dog properly without the use of treats, force, tools, or domination. All you have to do is just create a relationship between you and your dog. So that brings me into the part that I was going to say, that the health issues. Now, feeding and food and all that, we've come across a diet or lifestyle which is called ketogenic lifestyle. It's not a diet, ketogenic lifestyle. So ketogenic lifestyle says just eat good fat, protein, and veggies, a lot of veggies, and also reduce your carb. So all the treats contain a lot of carbs. Even if you make your own treats at home, it's still you're feeding your dog unnecessary. It's a lot of food that you're feeding your dog. It's not needed. They don't need to eat. Every time you're asking your dog to sit and you give a treat, if you're repeating that 10 times a day, your dog is eating a piece of steak at the end. Even though you're giving a little bit of treat at the time, at the end they're eating a meal, So again, it's not healthy. So let me go through some of the questions. When should you worry about puppy not drinking water? This is a good question. So if you are feeding your dog raw diet or wet food, your dog shouldn't be drinking much at all. For example, my dog, Harvey, he hardly drinks water. Maybe once in a while he'll drink water because I give him a treat or something. Treat. Yeah, the treat that I give is a veal chew or something like that, dry bone or something like that, and he chews on that, and then he gets thirsty and he drinks water for that reason. Otherwise, he doesn't just drink obsessively. If your dog is on kibble or dry food and still not drinking water, there is something wrong. They should be drinking a lot of water. So therefore, it causes them, especially dogs who are on kibble or dry food, they drink a lot of water, which causes stress in their bladder, in their system, and also because they are eating dry food, it dehydrates them, and it causes other health issues to develop. So therefore, I don't recommend dry food or kibble. So I suggest you to feed raw diet. Raw diet dogs usually don't drink much. They only drink a little bit throughout the day. So if your puppy or your dog is not drinking water, and if it's on kibble or dry food, there is something wrong. You definitely want to check with your vet. We have another question from, let me just, Tufted Tundra 595. Welcome, nice to see you here. Also, Heather Chandler, nice to see you here. So your question is, how much should a dog eat every meal? Okay, very good question too. So, the way you're going to figure out how much meal to feed your dog every single meal is you're going to find out, first of all, your dog ideal weight. So let's say your dog's ideal weight is 20 pounds. I'm going to give you a formula, a simple formula, you can figure it out. So let's say if it's 20 pounds, you're going to divide that by 10, so that's going to give you 200. You're going to make that 200 grams. So your 20-pound dog should eat 200 grams of food every day. So if you have a 30-pound dog, your dog should eat 300 grams a day. Get the formula? Very simple. So if your dog is 20-pound dog and it needs to eat 200 grams of food daily, you can feed your dog, I would suggest maximum 2 meals a day. You don't want to go more than that. If possible, just go 1 meal a day with your dog. So give 1 meal of 200 gram value of food, or 2 meals of 100 grams of value each meal. I hope that answers your question. Good question. So keep the questions coming, and if you have any other questions non-related to treat training or anything like that, let me know and I'm going to answer them all. So let's continue with negative effects of treat training. So as I said, so far I talked about the behavioral issues related, the effects of treat training, and also health related. So let's go a little bit deeper now and talk about what else causes your dog, what are the negative effects it causes your dog to have a dog which you are using treats to train your dog. The other reason is, let's say if you have a dog who's food motivated, we call that food motivated. Most dog trainers, they call dogs are food motivated. But I have come across a lot of dogs who are not food motivated. Most working breeds are not food motivated. They love to do things, they love to work, so therefore they don't care about food. So I would say, you have a dog who, let's say, is a food motivated, and there's a dog who's not food motivated. The dog who's food motivated, let's say I'm a person who I care about pizza, right? I love pizza, right? And you tell me that if you don't do your homework, you won't get pizza, right? So if I do my homework, I'm just doing it because I'm going to get pizza. You're taunting me with pizza. This is already it's a mental stress you're putting on me. You're telling me that if you don't do this, you're not going to get that, first of all. Second of all, you're telling me that if you do it, you're going to get pizza, which I value a lot. And the whole time that I'm doing my homework, I'm thinking about pizza. Am I thinking about homework? Am I thinking about what results am I getting from this homework? No, I'm thinking about pizza, right? So that's what happens when you bring food, involve food with a dog who's food motivated, and you just stress them more than necessary. They become obsessed with the food, not the results that you're looking for. Now, the dog who's not food motivated and you force the dog to focus on food and treats, then the dog is going to start losing interest in the action or the request that you're asking, the lesson that you're trying to teach. Because the dog is going to say, you know what, for example, I wanted to paint a picture, right? I wanted to do a painting. And then you brought a food in my view. And you said if you do something, you're going to get food. Now, I was thinking about painting, I was thinking about pleasing you, and you brought food in the picture. I don't really care about the pizza, but I have to focus on what I'm doing. And you keep forcing this food to your dog. Again, you're stressing your dog, stressing that dog, you're making that dog to focus on things that he or she is not interested in. And you're forcing your dog to focus on treats that it's not necessary. Again, so those are some of the reasons, again, we don't want to focus on treat training. And I have some more. Let me go through some of the comments and questions here. Yeah, my dog is around 20-30 pounds, and my dog eats in the morning and night. how can you know what your dog is trying to tell you? Like if he has to go outside and go to the bathroom, he or she, I meant. Okay, very good question. So yeah, if your dog is around 25 pounds, let's say, so 250 grams of food per day, one meal in the morning, one meal in the evening. That would be perfect. So if you wanna, how can you know what your dog is trying to tell you, like if he has to go outside and go to the bathroom? All right, so if your dog is asking you to go outside and he wants to do something, it's, you know, if they have to go, they will give you some clues. They will go stand by the door and let you know that they have to go. If they are going to the door for no reason, in your mind it's for no reason, that's a sign that your dog is asking you or telling you that your dog needs more mental and physical stimulation. So if you provide mental and physical stimulation, your dog would be more relaxed and you won't have those issues anymore, because it's mentally and physically stimulated and it's just happy. But if a dog is asking you to go out for no reason, and you want him, is that what you're asking me? If that's the question, I hope I'm answering the right question. If not, let me know. But if you provide good amount of physical and mental stimulation for your dog is going to leave you alone and is not going to bother you that much. Now, what is mental and physical stimulation? I often get asked that question. Mental stimulation is basically training. You can play and train with your dog, which is the best way of training a dog and stimulating a dog. So training is a mental stimulation. Physical stimulation is taking your dog for a walk or playing with your dog. So your dog needs to get a lot of play, physical stimulation, and a lot of training as well, mental stimulation. So if you provide physical and mental stimulation every day, throughout the day, you'll see that your dog is going to be more relaxed and is going to bother you less. So I think that's what you meant. Yes, good. All right. So let me go through one more concept of why you shouldn't use treats to train your dog. Now, if you have a dog who has behavioral issue, let's say, all right, I'm going to answer that question pretty soon. Yes, you see the picture, right? That's Cesar. The other thing is that when you have a dog who has behavioral issues, let's say he's aggressive, let's say if it's barking at other people and other dogs, and most dog trainers and people, they tend to use treats to train that dog. They take the dog to the area that gets reactive, and as the dog starts reacting, they take out the treat and start feeding the dog. So they want to get the dog to pay attention to the treat rather than to whatever is causing them to react. So in this case, for example, this is an example. In this case, again, the dog is focusing on the treat. It's not focusing on the value of the lesson that you're trying to accomplish. The value of the lesson is that pay attention to me, get cues from me, don't react to that dog or to that subject, listen to me and get cues from me and do whatever I am asking you to do. So the value of the lesson should be that. But when you give treats, when you provide treats, your dog says, oh, when I see something, I see a dog, a black dog, I get nervous, my owner gets nervous, takes out treats and feeds me. So black dog equals treats. Black dog equals goodies. If I react, my dog owner feeds me treats. So what happens here, the dog learns that if I learns the wrong lesson, if I react, I get treats. So most dog trainers or people, they say if you repeat this over and over, it becomes a normal behavior for the dog, and the dog starts ignoring that dog. Yes, your dog who's reactive, it may ignore the other dog, but because it expects treats. As soon as you remove treats, the expectation is going to be zero, and your dog is going to go back to whatever it was doing before. So in a way, using treats is a temporary solution. The long-term solution is to invest time and effort and train your dog. Now, as I said in the beginning, hi Cassandra, welcome. Hope you're doing well, and if you have any questions, let me know. So I'm talking about negative effects of treat training. So I was just explaining, if a dog is reactive and you treat train the dog and give treats to the dog, you're getting the dog to react to that situation even worse, because you are feeding the dog the behavior that it's giving you. So if your dog is reactive and you feed the dog treats, your dog is going to see that as a value, and is going to say, if I react, I get treats. But the thing is that we have to look at dog training in a way of a long-term result. So what I suggest you to do, instead of thinking of, okay, I'm going to have to train my dog, I want my dog to sit, so I'm going to take out the treat, I'm going to feed, and that's training. That's not what training is. Training is more than that. Training is something that you do 24/7 with your dog. Everything that you do or you don't do with your dog is a training. So what I want you to do is focus on what can you offer to your dog for a long term that you're going to be able to repeat, then see results. So what I want you to do is say, I'm going to train my dog for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year. I'm going to train my dog, and then I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this training. So what you do is you start focus training your dog for 15 minutes a day for a time being, and you work with your dog. 15 minutes is a focus training. What you're doing for 15 minutes, and not less than 15 minutes, or not even more than 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, you focus train your dog. What you do is you just focus and teach your dog a concept, an idea. If you want your dog to sit, train your dog without treats. Try it, give it a try. See if you can teach your dog to sit without treats. If you need to know how to do it, I have videos in my channel and my obedience playlist. Go ahead and watch those videos. You're going to see how easy it is to train a dog without treats. So all you have to do is just practice those for 15 minutes. Now, 23 hours and 45 minutes of time that you are left with, that's the time that you're going to practice that 15 minutes that you have taught your dog. So let's say for 15 minutes you're teaching your dog to sit, right? Rover sit, Rover sits for 15 minutes, you practice that. For 23 hours and 45 minutes, what you're going to do, you're in the kitchen, you're working, you're doing something, you're going to say, Rover, sit. Rover sits, good. You see that you're getting results. If your dog doesn't sit while you're in the kitchen, you can tell, okay, we need to work more. So tomorrow you're going to work another 15 minutes to get that sit accomplished. Then you're going to practice it again. You're in the front door, and you're going to ask, Rover, sit, and Rover is going to sit, hopefully. If it sits, oh, good. The 15 minutes focus training that we've been doing for last 5 days is working. Now you're going to go to the next level. You're going to teach your dog stay, come, stand, heel, all these commands. You're going to start teaching your dog. So as you get better and better, you're going to improve the relationship with your dog. And once you improve the relationship with your dog, you're going to see that you don't really need treats, force, domination, tools like shock collars, this and that. You're not going to need it. All you're going to need is you. You are the treat of your dog. You should be treat of your dog. Your dog should be value you as the best thing in the world. And you are, in my opinion, from your dog's point of view, you are the best thing in the world. You are more important than food. Believe it or not, you are more important than food. Dogs are so loyal that they don't care about the food as much as they care about the relationship that they're making with you. You are the best thing in the world that has happened to them. And you can do everything that you want with your dog. You can accomplish so much with your dog without using treats, any aversive tools, force, or domination. You can accomplish a lot of things with your dog. And it's magical when you see that. Let me answer a question. So how did you meet Cesar Millan? I noticed the picture of you and Cesar behind you. Yes, that's Cesar Millan. So Cesar Millan is a dog trainer, a very well-known dog trainer. I bet you know him. If you don't know him, he's a very well-known dog trainer called the Dog Whisperer. He's a kind of guy that some people love him and some people hate him. The reason because he uses some form of force and domination to train dogs, but also he preaches calmness and calm energy, which I like. So I have a love and hate relationship with him as well. I love him in general. The message that he gives, I love him. Some of the methods that he uses, I don't agree. I just don't support using those kind of methods. The way I met Cesar Millan was here in 2010. He was here in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and he was doing a live show, and I was one of the 50 people who was lucky to be selected to go to his show and meet him in person and take a picture and have an autograph of him as well and have a little chat with him. So that's how I met him. That was the year that actually the tour that he was doing, he was going through his divorce. I didn't know, but I knew that there was something wrong with him. There was something going on when I was watching his show. He wasn't himself. You have, you're thinking, okay, someone who's going to be on TV is going to be different than in live. Yes, usually it is, but he was not on the stage spiritually. I could feel it, and I didn't know what was going on. And later on, I found out that he was going through his divorce. So now I had a better idea. So that's how I met Cesar Millan. So just make sure to ask your questions if you have any questions in the comments area, in the chat area, and I'll answer them as soon as I'm going to be done with the next segment. So let me go through the next segment, and this is the last segment. So teaching a dog the basics, the way you have to teach your dog is by starting to teach your dog the basics. If you have a dog who has behavioral issues, if you want to teach your dog tricks, you want to teach your dog to do amazing stuff, go through your legs and go on your shoulder and sit and do this, bring you a beer, a can of beer bottle and things like that. You want your dog to do tricks. You want your dog to sit politely in front of other people when you're greeting them. You want to do agility, you want to do fly ball, you want to do a nose job, any of those stuff. It all starts by building a relationship with your dog. If you build a clean, good relationship with your dog, anything is possible, anything in future is possible. You start with the basics. You start with teaching your dog communication. You have to build a communication system between you and your dog. If you don't have a communication system between you and your dog, you can't do anything. You have to have some form of communication. So that communication is built by doing the basic obedience. And if you want to build basic, if you want to learn basic obedience, I have videos in my channel. You can go ahead and watch those. I'm going to link them somewhere here as well later on. And you can watch those, and you start building that communication system with your dog. If you can teach your dog to sit, stay, calm, all those things, no worries. I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming. If you teach your dog all those basics, you're going to start building a communication system, a two-way communication system between you and your dog. So you can tell your dog to sit, your dog is going to sit, and if your dog starts listening to you and paying attention to you, after that you can do anything you want. If you build this communication system in a way that it's solid, and it's done properly, and it's done in a way that you get results indoors and outdoors, then that's it. You're done. Your dog is connected to you, and you can do anything you want with your dog. You can do magical stuff with your dog. You can do all kinds of stuff with your dog. Your dog is not going to have behavioral issues. Most of the reason why dogs have behavioral issues like aggression, they have barking issue problem, they have biting issue, all these things is because of lack of communication system between the dog owner and the dog. Me and my dog are very connected. My dog, this is Jonah, I'm pointing at him. Me and my dog Jonah, we were really connected. I could do all kinds of stuff, basically non-verbal. I could connect with him, I could talk to him non-verbally. That was because I spent a lot of time teaching him, training with him, spending a lot of time, quality time, not just sitting on the couch and watching TV and my dog on my lap. No, I was doing things with him. I spent a lot of time. I was working too, but I put a lot of time on training and investing time and investing in my dog so I could benefit the results in future. So once I did it for about a year, after a year I was doing less, but I was still doing, but I was enjoying the benefits after that. So it's not to teach your dog come here and the dog doesn't come, and take out treat and get your dog to come to you for the treat. That's the wrong approach of dog training. You're doing it all wrong. Your dog should come to you because of you. And if you see that your dog is coming to you because of you, then you have a good idea that, okay, everything that you're doing is working. And I hope by watching this video, you have gained some knowledge and understanding of, first of all, why you should train your dog. Second of all, how you can train your dog. And third of all, why I do suggest not to use treats to train your dog. So don't use treats. I suggest you not to use treats. Force, aversive tools, domination. So what do you use? You use play and praise, reward. Dogs love to play. Most dogs, they love either to play or praise, and some dogs love both of them. So you can praise your dog, you can say, good boy, good girl, yes, good job. That's more than enough for your dog. Or you can play with your dog. What I do, I've shown in the videos that I play with my dog. If my dog, I asked him to sit, he sits, I throw the ball at him, we play a little bit, we run around, we do a tug of war, we do this and that, we play. And that's more than reward for your dog. It's because you're spending time with your dog. Your dog says, oh, you're paying attention to me, you're looking at me, you're watching me, you're with me, you are part of me. It's not that you're giving me treats. Oh, I love you because you're giving me treats. No, your dog is saying, I love you because you're spending time with me. And your dog appreciates that more than anything else. I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the ideas that I share with you, and I will share more in future and in my videos, and I'll come live all the time. I'll try to be going live once a week. Hope to see you here again. We have one more question. What is your puppy telling you when she growls when you go to pick her up? So this is a good question. If a puppy is growling when you pick them up, it's a sign that your dog needs more manhandling. You have to do a little bit of more. Your dog has to get used to the idea of being touched, first of all. But the other part of it is always look at it from dog's point of view. Most dogs, they don't like to be picked up. They don't like to be picked up or hold in our in our arms. It's very uncomfortable. It's very scary. It's something that they don't feel safe. So when they don't feel safe, they give you those clues. They give you those signals that I don't feel comfortable. Stop picking me up. Maybe later on, when your puppy is grown up a little bit and has a little bit more confidence, maybe then it would be feeling a little bit more comfortable to be lifted, to be handled and picked up. But first of all, yes, they are telling you that they don't feel comfortable. Second of all, they don't like to be picked up. My dogs, like even Jonah, who passed away, and Harvey that I have now, they don't really like to be handled. It's not comfortable for them. They don't feel comfortable. And most dog owners, they think when they're, when we are picking up our dogs, is not for the dog's sake, it's for our sake. It makes us feel good, so we pick up the dog. But we forget that the dogs have feelings too, so they don't feel comfortable when you do that. So don't look at it from your perspective. Look at your dog's perspective. If they don't like it, don't do it. They're giving you the signals. They're giving you the feeling, the way they feel. And most dog owners, they do it because they feel good. And if their dog is growling or doing, they think that their dog is hating them. No, as I said, you're the best thing that has happened to your dog. You're the best reward. You're the best thing that your dog can get at this moment. So don't think and don't feel that your dog hates you. They will never hate you. They will never turn their back on you. Humans turn their back on dogs, but dogs would never turn their back onto humans, on those humans who care for them. You have to remember, you're caring for your dog. You're providing shelter, food, all kinds of goodies to your dog, bed, water, toys, all kinds of this stuff to your dog. Your dog cannot say no to those, cannot hate you. You're providing everything to your dog, and they're not going to hate you. Just because your dog is growling at you when you pick up your dog, it doesn't mean that they hate you. They're just giving you a signal. They're saying, I don't feel comfortable. Please don't do it. I don't like it. Can you not do it? They can't really have a talk with us. They can't tell this stuff, right? So that's how they do it. They communicate with us by saying and growling. I hope that answers your questions. Is there any other question? If there isn't, I'm going to end the broadcast in here. And I hope you enjoyed the broadcast today, and the questions were great. And the content that I shared today with you, please, if you are just joining me, please watch the rerun, and I'll put all the links and all the information on the description and on the video as well. So if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video. And until next time, have fun with your dog.